Everybody, Wilton Khan over here, out here in Providence, Rhode Island. Never been here, speaking at Kates-Boylston's event. One thing I want to bring up with you guys is Apple Maps. How many of you actually know that you have a complete good listing on Apple Maps? The reason here is about 65% of the phones being shipped these days are iPhones. And by default, if somebody is on their iPhone, they would be using Apple Maps instead of Google Maps, right? I'm a little more tech savvy to know to set Google Maps as a default, but most consumers, they have Apple Maps as a default. So what that means is whenever they are on their phone looking up directions, it's defaulted to Apple Maps. If they are using Siri, right? Some of the older generation, they hate typing on their phone. They will be using Siri to ask the phone for directions, or just, hey, what's the closest funeral home? What's the closest plumber? What's the closest roofers near me? And it's all going to be defaulted to Apple Maps. So that means, when's the last time you actually checked your listing, right, on Apple Maps, right? I know many of you claimed have a good listing on Google already. Your Google listing is complete, but you got to make sure that your listing is good and complete on Apple Maps right now. Currently, a lot of information are still imported over from Yelp, such as on Apple Maps. If you look up yourself, the reviews, the pictures are pulled in from Yelp. So if you don't have a lot of good information on Yelp, you have a lot of negative reviews on Yelp, it shows up on Apple Maps. And you also got to make sure that on your Apple Map listing, going forward, most likely Apple will be not forming that relationship with Yelp anymore. It's going to have its own reviews. You're able to add in photos. You're going to be getting more features, kind of like Google listing. So to start off, make sure you claimed your Apple Map listing.